Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Southern Dirt. My name is Summer and today I'll be giving you a monthly tour of our food forest and all of our fruit trees on our property. Alright guys, I'm going to start with my mulberry trees that I started from cuttings. These were propagated about a couple years ago. It was the first thing I ever propagated. And we decided to make multiple rows out here. We do have several rows of different muscadine grapes that we planted about a year ago, and I'll show you those in a second. But I'm going to give you a close-up of these. Look at all the mulberries. So if you guys go back to my last video that I uploaded of my food forest, I'm doing monthly tours, so you can actually see the huge difference from last month to this month. It's crazy. Literally my trees were just burnt to a crisp, and we've had some nice beautiful rain and weather, and all of these are flushing, and a lot of the mulberries are starting to get pink here. And if you are looking for a nice hardy tree for your food forest, mulberry would be my #1 pick for Central Florida. They just continue to produce fruit. The birds absolutely love them. So you want to grow more than just one tree. You want to always grow an extra tree for the animals. And this all was propagated from my mother tree. And we'll get to that in a second. I'm gonna go over here to our muscadine vines. They're kind of in a dormant state and look really awful. So this is a southern home variety. It is actually engineered by the University of Florida. So this is the only one I see at this point, only muscadine that is starting to push new growth. So this right here is helping us hold them up. So when we get to a point where we've got a little V here, we will stake these off. Though they've been really hard to grow and get them up high. It's been definitely a lot of work. We do have wild muscadines growing on our property, which I'll get to in a second. On our last row, you don't see any vines because we were waiting for a particular variety. And meanwhile, I was growing Seminole pumpkins. And if you have not grown Seminole pumpkins, they are a wonderful addition to a garden or food forest. They are a wonderful food supply because they store a really long time. I'll have to show you my pantry. We've got tons of them in my pantry. Also plan to, when we do get that variety that we're waiting for, we will just plug in Seminole pumpkins throughout our food forest and let them climb in the trees that we have. Over here we have some orange trees that my husband rescued from another property. Some are doing well, like this one. And we've got a ton of blooms on them right now, going everywhere. Some are sick, some have died, though we're going to give these guys another year, see how they do. We've harvested buckets and buckets of oranges off these trees. I'm not sure if they have the citrus greening or not. We do not spray these with anything. I do not do anything special to these, but fertilize them a couple times a year and put down wood chips. Right here we had lost a citrus tree a ways back and decided I would plant it with an olive tree. And apparently olive is a new bit of agriculture that is being tested in Florida, because apparently we have enough cold hours to grow olives, though this is my first year growing an olive tree, so we'll just kind of see how that does. I've just been waiting to see if any blooms are going to pop out. We do have a ton of new growth though since the last video. Now in the last video I was really sad about my moringa tree, but as you can see I did chop it back, and look at that. We have new growth coming all which ways. So I'm really excited about that. It definitely got hit hard with the freeze. So that I was very happy to see grow back. I did have some smaller ones over here. I don't even know if I've showed you guys these, but I clipped them back as well, and they are starting to grow back. Oh wow, this one's already shooting some new growth on the bottom. Yeah, see that? So along our fence we have all kinds of different citrus. These also have been rescued from a different property than these, but it's all kinds of mixed citrus like key lime, Myers lemon. Some citrus we're not even sure what it is because it was, you know, just a rescue. Wow, I got all kinds of animals rooting up my ground. But one of our favorite citrus trees are the Myers lemon trees, which we have 3 of them. 1, 2, and then 3 over here. We get so much fruit from them, and we actually still have some in our fridge from November. Our kids love to use it for lemonade. We use it in all kinds of different dishes. We even got to a point where we had so many at one time we were freezing the lemon juice and just pre-packaging the lemon juice for lemonade if we had too many lemons, so at least they didn't go bad. Over here is a fig tree that was damaged pretty bad from the frost. If you go back to my other video, you'll see that there was nothing but a stem here. And I definitely need to get to getting some of these weeds and putting some more fresh mulch down. But I'm thankful that this guy is pushing some new growth. Here are some of our muscadine vines that grow wild. They trail all along this fence, and those are a red color that we have. And I'm not exactly sure what this tree is right here. It's almost like a variegated lime or lemon, but it does really well. Over here is our mother mulberry tree. This tree is about 7 years old, and this is where I took clippings of the mulberry tree and propagated all those trees that we've recently went and showed you. But we had another one here, and I believe it was more like a bush variety. I don't know what happened to it. It got sick and didn't make it, but it was okay because we liked this particular variety better, and what we believe it is called is everbearing. Over here we had, ooh, this is one of my dumpster dives. Our neighbors were throwing this away, and I got out and drug it off the road and onto our property. And thank you, neighbor, if you're watching. I will repurpose it and put it into our food forest somewhere. Over here is where we had our papayas, which we lost in the freeze. Since then, I've replanted some papayas, and what I'm going to do is stage them in our banana forest, which I'll show you later on in the video. I've actually incorporated a bunch of different things in our little banana forest just to see how they will do. But I am probably the most excited to tell you that all of our mango trees survived. So we did trim back all of our mango trees. We waited till the last possible frost date, which I feel for anybody that did that in zone 9A and then in the north of 9B, because I know we did get a frost advisory. Thankfully here it did not drop low enough, but I feel for you guys. So if you lost your trees, let me know what trees you lost, and tell me the trees that are frost hardy in your zone in the description below, because I get that a lot, and I don't have all the trees that you can grow in Central Florida. So my two that I would suggest are loquat and mulberry. They did really well through the freeze. So thankfully our mangoes are coming back. We've got all kinds of new growth. As you can see, they don't look pretty, but they did survive. And we have a dragon fruit here. I have not planted it yet because I really don't know what I'm going to do here now that we have the space. I think I'm just going to let it climb through the fence here. Over here is our Barbados cherry tree, and we trimmed back all of our trees actually after the last frost date. And this guy's doing great. There's a little ladybug. I don't know if you can see. But those did well. And for some reason my avocado looks like it's stressing. When we did have the freeze, it really looked like it didn't touch it, but I feel like a lot of leaves have dropped, if you can see right here on the ground. We had it flower for the first time ever last year. It has yet to fruit or flower again this year. So we're still just waiting on to see what this tree will do. And that's a 7-year-old tree, by the way. This is a guava tree, which is also a rescue tree from another property. And this is like a larger guava with a pink flesh. We have another one right here, which we seem to believe it's called a Catalina guava, which are just smaller guavas with a pink flesh. So this tree gives off so much food in the summer, and our kids will just eat them raw like apples. We freeze them and use them for juices, guava paste, guava pastries. With this, the easiest thing that we do is making juice from it. It's so tasty and nutritious. Definitely a lot of health benefits with guava. Over here is our other mango tree that made it. I'm so excited. I can't tell y'all how happy I was when I came out here and I saw these little tiny sprigs coming out of this tree. So hopefully those will recover. So over here, our pineapples looked pretty damaged and still do. But the good news is we have little pineapples, as you can see, coming through. We also have blackberries coming through here. We have a whole blackberry patch. It's all natural, wild grown over here along the fence, and they always kind of creep into our pineapples. So we have all kinds of pineapples coming up. I'll find another one on the other side. And here is our loquat tree, which the squirrels and birds absolutely love. So even after the freeze, we still have a ton of new growth coming in. And look at this guy. So basically, if any of your plants look dead, do not touch them, just let them be. I was for sure that these guys were gone, and look at that, we've got new little pineapples everywhere with just a little green left on them. Here's some more wild muscadine vines along the fence here. Here's our other mango tree that is pushing new growth after we trimmed it back. And one of our fig trees. I think I'm actually gonna I keep telling you guys this, that I'm gonna find another location for this one. Oh wow, this guy, I thought this one was dead. And it somehow sprung a new, like literally the whole branch was gone, and it has popped up new growth. How cool is that? Now I'm going to take you guys into our banana forest and show you some of our other wild fruiting trees, along with our blueberries that we have in our garden. So here's our 1,100 square foot garden in our backyard, where we have our garden lined with blueberries. And after the freeze, our branches and leaves pretty much looked pretty rough, but because of the cold, we're actually pushing a lot more blooms than usual. So the cold weather that we got actually helped our blueberries. I wasn't sure if it was going to get too cold to hurt the blueberries, but from the about 5 to 7 years that we've had these guys, I feel like we're going to get the best harvest yet. Look at that. Wow. We even have some that are still flowering as well. So that is doing great. And if you want to see any of our monthly tours, you can find them on my website. I do give updates month to month. So here are banana trees that are bouncing back really well. Even if you go back to my last video, I have tiny touches of green. And look, we even have a new pod. Look at that. That is so pretty. That is already sprouting out of our trees. We have hundreds of these. These trees were on a property that we purchased several years back and have been having loads and loads of bananas. Recently I've gone in here and planted a papaya tree that I had potted that survived the frost, which I was able to cover, just to see maybe if I planted it within here, these banana trees would create a nice atmosphere for it to survive in a frost. So I have actually planted a mulberry tree here, which is doing well. And this is from a clipping. It already has some mulberries on it. The good thing is right here, there's plenty of sun coming through for them. And here's that papaya tree. Awesome. So I haven't touched these. I haven't even looked at them in about a month. So those are incorporated there. Over here we have some newly planted banana trees. I wouldn't say new, but they're probably a year old. These were rescued from a house where my husband was building a dock and they didn't want them. So he pulled them up and said, hey, I have a wife that would take them. And I'm trying to just see if I can grow things without irrigation. Like here's some potatoes I planted and I'm super excited to see they have popped up. So I am testing all kinds of things right next to my banana forest. We actually call this the banana barn because we have so much crap that my husband has collected over the years with building and remodeling homes. And so he's given me the okay to just let this be our wild forest and testing grounds with no weeding and just letting it all grow wild. So if there's anything you think I should just throw underneath these trees or by the trees that don't need a whole lot of irrigation, let me know and we'll test them out. Here is our little sugar cane area that was here on the property. It is beyond time to harvest these, but we don't really ever harvest much of these. They're kind of hard to process, but it's awesome to be able to have these right here on our property. And these are our wild elderberry trees. You can see the little white flowers. Those will be turning into elderberry. They give off so much. And here's some small stages of elderberry. Here's the flowers. And they just go for miles on our property. We're definitely blessed to have this many. We definitely come out and harvest. We eat them raw. We save them for elderberry jams and we make our own elderberry syrup. So as you can see, we have tons. The blooms pretty much as far as you can see. We got them everywhere. So over here we have a wild blueberry on our back property. I thought I would show you this because I just thought it was absolutely cool when we were just walking back through here and saw these berries. We'll go serve for you guys. And we harvest these, the kids will come back here and we'll make little blueberry muffins. And they're super tiny, but they're so good. I actually just started propagating these just to see if we can add more to our property, because apparently this is the perfect place for these to grow. And we won't need a special rootstock like you do with most blueberries that grow in Florida. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope I've inspired you to grow something new. I hope that you are enjoying all the content that I'm putting out through my channel. I want to thank you guys for subscribing, or if you're a long-time subscriber, thank you so much for following me during my journey. Please make sure if you have any questions or comments to put them in the comment section. And I wanted to give a big thank you to any of you who have purchased seeds or any products through my website, or purchased items through my affiliate links. That helps me continue to do these videos for you guys. I will see you next time.